We left off page 612. The second, he's speaking about the three types of tshuva. The first is purely almost lip service. He doesn't sin only when it doesn't present itself, but when it does present himself, he succumbs to his desires. So that original tshuva, he says, is not really, it's so superficial, one is even punished for that kind of doing tshuva. Because you're just going through the motions, but a person doesn't have true remorse and doesn't have any degree of commitment. If it doesn't present itself, I won't violate. I'm not going to seek it out. It's that kind of thing. The second, what he speaks, the second type of tshuva, of repentance, has relevance to most of us. Person who repents with his heart and with his limbs, with his body. And in perspective-wise, his mindset is he doesn't want to give in to his yetzer. He doesn't want to succumb to his yetzer hara, to his inclination. And he conducts himself, he puts him in a position that he's always overcoming his desires. He has the desire, but he's continuously suppressing his desires. Till he is victorious and he denies his desires. He won't do what God doesn't want him to do. But why? He desires it, but I'm not going to do it because I know it's wrong. I understand. It's like a person says, I love evil, but I'm not going to do evil because God is opposed to evil. It's that kind of thing. But if a person truly understands what evil is or what wrong is, how do you desire something that represents something which is so evil? Meaning, in terms of inclination-wise, desire-wise, he's always inclined to do something which is contrary to the will of Hashem, contrary to serving God. And he yearns for that. He wishes he could, but he continuously he attempts to seal it, to shut it down, the desire. Sometimes it beats him, sometimes he beats it. This kind of person, there's going to always be slippage. Because even if you suppress it and you always have the upper hand very often because there's this undercurrent of desire that you really would like to if you could, but so that person always what? The times very often he fails. So this person we call, he straddles both sides of the fence. He vacillates. This person is not complete in the approach of repentance, which brings about atonement. You have to be fully removed from the sin. When will the sin of Yaakov be atoned? Yeah. That he leveled those stones of the wall like shattered pieces of chalk, so that their Shem Yitzhak's altar never return. No, over there, the speaking of idolatry. That the idolatry is not you leave it, but we're not going to sacrifice on the altars of idolatry, but you destroy it in a way where there's no going back. I mean, ultimately, through conditioning, if you put yourself in the right environment and you wean yourself long enough, eventually you lose interest. You lose interest. And it's no longer a battle that you have to suppress your desire. You wean yourself long enough, and not only are you weaning yourself, and you're replacing it with something else, something positive, you have less of a battle against your inclination. The inclination weakens. This is the famous chinuch, which we always mention in Hilchos Achilas Pesach. There's a negative thing, not permitted to break the bone of the Korban Pesach, to take the marrow out. It says, Etzem lo tishbur bo. So the chinuch says, why? Because it's the way of a dog gnaws on bones. Here we're trying to demonstrate cherus, we're free men, we're princes, and you're behaving like a dog, you're gnawing on the bones. So he says, the person may ask, and if I enjoy gnawing on bones, is it so terrible? He says the basis for that question is a lack of experience in life, because there's a known dictum, which is known, Adam nifol k'fi philosopher. A person is a product of his actions. And he says a person can be a rasha, and he's forced to do acts of righteousness over an extended period of time. The man's going to become a tzaddik. Ultimately, he's going to be inclined and drawn to do acts of righteousness. And a person is a tzaddik, and he's coerced and compelled to do acts of evil. Over time, he's going to become a rasha, based on the principle Adam nifol k'fi philosopher. Man is a product of his actions. So I'm saying over here, if a person conditions himself sufficiently in the positive, it's not he just doesn't do the negative, but you do positive in the place of the negative, ultimately that positive will have an effect on you that the person's mindset and emotion and inclination will be towards positive rather than towards negative. Now, there's a famous word from the Sharm. He writes, the Ramchal, is just as an inner feeling reveals itself on one's limbs, the person's inspired. It's noticeable on the person. Identically, one's outer actions could affect the inner part of a person. Just going through motions over a period of time, that could actually affect your mindset and your feelings and your perspective. If you can't get yourself going, you do it long enough, ultimately it'll affect you. It's the same principle as the chinuch. Adam nifol k'fi philosopher. A man is a product of his actions. To be continued.